into the Uncommon Podcast. That's right, we're back in action, ready to talk and share some info with you all. And today's episode number 23, 23, baby. That's what it be. We're going to talk about No Shave November and stuff. Like Movember. What y'all think of my stash?
Mm-hmm. Sexy. Man, that thing's coming along.
Thanks.
You got like the whole half curl going on. You're going to be able to curl that thing all the way around here pretty quick if you haven't been already. Okay. All right.
Y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
To spread awareness. And also, I think it's a cool mustache.
So, yeah, November is known for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we just did some research.
There's
National Nacho Day. I was like, Nacho Day?
I love that. I think like the month of my birthday has like this National Man Day. And National Steak Day. So it's one of the best months. July, by the way.
July.
Yeah, buddy.
If you want to send a Christmas present, I'm gonna.
Hey, Christmas presents in July. I love that. So November. I know the episode's called No Shave November, but let's get through the and stuff, right?
Notice Chris's beard, by the way.
Pancreas, yeah. It's like it's filling out. You probably can't get it. Yeah. My winter beard. Mm-hmm. Pancreatic cancer. I think that's where No Shave has the attachment to is creating awareness for pancreatic cancer. I think. Don't quote me 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure that's where that came from. No Shave November. Okay. Lung cancer, which resonates kind of a little bit in my story. We'll talk about that. Stomach cancer, carcinoid cancer. I don't know what that is, and I didn't do enough research. So if you can share that with us in the comments, that would be awesome. And then honoring caregivers. Obviously, Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Is in November.
Mm-hmm.
National Nacho Day was on November 6th.
That's huge.
Which was awesome. What was the other one I looked at that was, do you remember, that was listed with Nacho Day? Do you remember what that was?
You had me nachos.
I know. It's the food just distracts us so much. But
did I see Caregivers Day on there?
Yeah. Let's see. Alzheimer's awareness is in the month of November. Veterans Day, obviously honor our veterans. It's epilepsy and seizures.
Oh wow.
Which I didn't know either. So National Epilepsy Awareness Month as well. We have elections quite a bit in November, so sometimes it causes some PTSD with some peeps, but there's been some historical times in November.
Absolutely.
Some of the most historical times in our country.
Absolutely.
And in the world, for that matter, have been in November. You can scoot a little this way if you want to. We're off.
In the frame?
Yeah, we're framey really well.
In the frame.
And so, a lot of great things happen in November. So tell me, because you do Mo.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was doing Mo.
You didn't?
Until
So Mo Shave November, right?
Yeah.
What is that?
So
because I don't know about this.
So I've had a few friends in the past, and like in MLS, a couple soccer players did it. To spread awareness about men's health around suicide awareness.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yes.
And in addition, just being healthy. So like eating right, exercising, that type of thing. But for me, because I've grown a longer beard, it was something I wanted to do was grow a mustache out.
Mm-hmm.
It just so happened that the timing of when it started looking pretty well was November. And so yesterday I actually made a post on my personal page, and I was like, oh yeah, November. And that's important to me. Like I had people close to us that have committed suicide, and I've had other situations in the past where I've talked with individuals that have those type of suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
I've worked in positions where I'm training in crisis intervention, where people will have to be watched because they could potentially self-harm. You know what I mean?
Wow, Josh, I didn't know that about you.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. Wow.
So it's close to me because I feel like, that is an evil spirit. Anything
it really is.
You're not
and
wanted to thrive in
it's
life.
A really difficult demon for people. So for a lot of people,
it is a demon whispering, telling you you're not worth it.
Yeah,
you're not worth it.
Yeah.
And so that is what kind of came to me was like, wow, I haven't showed anybody myself really on on the line. I post about stuff, but
Yeah.
like, it's not my face sometimes. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I thought, well, I guess I should show people what I look like now.
Yeah.
And I was wearing a cowboy hat, my hair down.
Loved it.
Thanks, bro.
Loved it. You know what's weird about what you said, though, is it's ironic to me that we are recognizing, and maybe it's done on purpose, recognizing suicide and mental health awareness in the same month that we are recognizing what we're thankful for. And so maybe that's
a valid, interesting point there.
There's an irony there.
Yeah.
And so I think that like maybe the purpose might have been to counteract that, maybe not explained well enough for people that struggle with mental health and victims and people that have struggled with suicide and those kinds of things. But if you are struggling with mental health, obviously please get help. I mean, Josh and I are here also. We're not counselors or certified by any means, but we've traveled many roads, both together and separate. And we'd love to share our experiences with you all and be an ear to listen and those. And we're still learning each other how to listen effectively and those kinds of things. But if you can't find the resources, we'd love to be one for you on that note. But also, I mean, look at the things that you are thankful for. I mean, the fact that you're still breathing is a gift when others struggle to do so. And I'll talk about, that, what that means to me and my family. And so that's a gift in itself. I literally thank God every day that he gave me a night's rest and that he woke me up in the morning because, we forget that some people don't.
It's very true.
Wake up. And so I don't want to go down that road of negativity, but recognize that we have gifts every single day. And there's always somebody that wants to be there for you. I know sometimes it's hard to find those. I've dealt with depression myself in those struggles, and mine is probably minute compared to others. I don't want to compare my situation to anybody else's struggles. But I mean, days on end that I've spent in bed, struggling to get up or work, or, I'm thankful that I'm blessed to have my business that, at times I didn't have to work, so I can take care of my mental health, but definitely take those mental health breaks and utilize time that you've got, utilize the resources that are out there, make phone calls, surround yourself with positivity and positive people. And so I've been very blessed in that I haven't had to deal with that for many years. I have before. I've lost friends to suicide and mental health issues and things like that. And I've got family members that struggle with that. But you definitely find your resources before you take action and maybe focus on. I know the holidays are difficult at times, especially for people that struggle with mental health and situations, PTSD. It's a tough season for a lot of people, but maybe if we focus on the little things that we're thankful for, that could help.
That's huge. So just to piggyback off what you said, everything you said, thank you first of all for sharing that. Okay. And because I know that's not easy. This topic isn't easy because like you, I've had difficulties as well too. I mean, anytime I go through that struggle, because here we are smiling and happy for our show, but I mean the reality of it is we've had down in the dumps days, bad days. So something you said though that I want to share with our viewers and listeners is that I've learned psychologically, because that feeling is an emotional thing, it's a mental thing. But when you wake up with gratitude, when you make the choice to be thankful, the mind can only accept one or the other. And knowing that simplified it for me, and because then I was able to control thoughts.
Wow. Which is a really difficult but powerful thing to do.
It's hard. It's not easy to do. Because it's a choice. And so like thinking about what are those things, asking the right questions What am I thankful for? Who am I thankful for? Why is this person important to me? Who do I love? Why do I love them? Tony Robbins attests to this. He's got like a list of 7 things that you can do to say to yourself, and it gets you in that mind frame, because thinking is the questions you're asking yourself. So if you're seeking something not of gratitude, something to find, not just you, but anyone, if you're looking for stuff that's going to bring you down, you're going to be brought down.
Mm-hmm.
If you're searching for the things that are going to not help you, you're not going to find help. But if you're looking for gratitude, if you're like, man, I'm really happy that I still have both my parents alive, and they were never divorced, thankfully, that all my children are healthy and alive. They have all their fingers and all their toes, and they're bright and smart and loving and charismatic. I'm married. Marriage can be a challenge. There's been times where maybe we could have said, forget this and not be married, like there's all sorts of different things that could have happened, but by choosing to be thankful for whatever that is, even on difficult days. And that's what the word talks about too, is finding joy in all things. That's hard. Finding joy when you've had a really bad day, when you've been kicked in the nuts, call after call doing sales, when people have been rude to you and talking bad about you or to you, or you hear other things or whatever. There's a lot of stuff that could happen that you may not agree with, but still searching what you can be thankful for.
Yeah.
And that's a choice, because it's so easy to just not.
It is.
I will be the first to
It is super easy to not.
Yeah.
I mean, that phrase in itself is powerful, and it's real because that's easy. Like, it's super easy to stay in bed all day and not deal with life and not deal with that kind of stuff. It's super easy to not see your problems, to not see your issues, to not, to think about what we don't have. Think about, the people we don't have and all those things. And it is. Yeah. That's the easy part.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the easy part.
Absolutely. Because there's people that have maybe it's jealousy.
Yeah.
Right. So someone maybe has a nicer house and a nice car, all these material things that we desire. And something I learned recently, I was telling you about that one podcast I was listening to about the high five.
Oh yeah.
Another topic. And
it's a 5-second rule, you said.
Well, the gal that does a 5-second rule also developed this high five concept, right?
Yeah.
She was talking about in an interview with Ed Milet about jealousy and how jealousy really is what we desire. But we can use that.
Oh yeah.
Or you can use it negatively. Like that could be a driving force. Like instead, because jealousy is like you want what that person has, but you just want it. That person probably worked for it. You don't know what their story is to get to where they need to be to have that cool stuff. That stuff isn't just a lot of the people we know that have found success. It's not just given to them.
Oh no, I mean
it's been earned.
Oh yeah, I would say 90% of the people that are successful will say that they've struggled.
Exactly,
and they've had quite talk to somebody. I know it's intimidating, but they're people. They're people just like you and I. I mean, we as people that maybe don't have as much as those, we compare ourselves. We're the ones putting them on that pedestal. I mean, there's very few of those people, I would say, in my experience, there's very few of those people that are they're not open to those kinds of conversations, or they're not grounded,
right?
And those kinds, and they want to share, they want to help, they want to. So I would say open yourself up to those kinds of things for sure. And I had lunch, and here's something that I learned. It is opening your ears to God's message. Right. And I'm not talking about in church. I'm not talking about in Bible study or life groups. I mean, yes, the word does happen there, right, and you get a lot from church and those kinds of things. But so many times throughout my healing journey, right, and my journey to try to better myself, and God just tells me the right things at the right time. And I don't mean my time, I mean his time. Because that's a thing.
That is truly a thing.
It's never when I want to hear it. It's always when he needs me to hear it, which is usually two entirely different things. And also through platforms and things that I would never have expected. I had lunch with a friend of mine. It's like 2 weeks ago. And it was supposed to be a potential business meeting to kind of connect the dots, kind of just networking. And what they told me in that meeting was about, and I've heard from many people about manifestation. We talked about that. But she said some things to me about like talking yourself through those things. And instead of saying, well, this is what I'm going to do if this happens, or these are my plan A and my plan B, or thinking about the just in case, she shared with me, and she said, why don't we just say, I'm going to wake up today in a great mood. I'm going to set so many appointments, or I'm going to have a great day at work, no matter what happens to me throughout the day. I'm going to come home to see my kids, and they're going to have a fantastic day at school, and they're going to get their work done, and we're going to have some family time at the end of the day. You know, whatever your day is, you just say that to yourself. And you say, God's going to bless me today. I don't know what that blessing is, but it's going to be positive. And I'm only going to focus on the positive things. I mean, just in a very general way, without being as specific as I was before, I am going to have a positive day. I'm going to get through my depression. I'm going to get through these struggles. Instead of hitting rock bottom today, I'm going to wait, and I'm going to actually move towards more of a positive. And just saying those things, start maybe in your head, but the more comfortable you get, like saying that stuff out loud is super powerful.
Oh yeah, there's power in the spoken tongue. And
absolutely.
What you're doing is declaring.
Yes.
It's a declaration.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Thank you for that.
You're taking control.
Yeah.
And when you're doing it with God, not just like this is what Chris wants. This is what God wants. God wants you victorious.
Well, and that's
when you're declaring it in Jesus' name.
That's my point.
You will manifest.
That was my whole point of that. And like you kind of brought that whole wrap with a big bow on it, because like that's what I was trying to say. I did not think that was the purpose of that meeting. But God was like, dude, you need to hear this. You're not listening to me. So maybe, and that week,
God does that.
I know all the time.
Through others.
Exactly.
Through others.
Exactly.
Different platforms.
It's the craziest thing. And I use the word craziest lightly or loosely there. But it really is.
It's supernatural.
Yeah,
and So we feel like it's crazy because to the natural, it's unnatural.
Right.
Because it's supernatural. And only that you're seeking is going to be that.
Yeah, for sure. And so that week, I started practicing that. And it works. It works. Isn't that the craziest thing when you try to figure that stuff out and you just try it and you're like, I don't know if this is gonna work. Is it really? And it works. And I've had fantastic days ever since.
If you believe.
Yes. I mean, there has to be some level of conviction when you say that, some level of belief. You can't just be like, I'm gonna have a good day at work today and it's gonna be awesome. Like you have to, I mean, yes, you have to believe that you are. When you say it, I mean, I think you're going to believe a little bit more than if you do in your head. You say it out loud. But yeah, I think that's super. It may not get you through 100% of what you're going through, but that's been super powerful.
I'm so glad you found that.
For me, oh my gosh,
life and death is spoken by the tongue.
You know, yeah.
And that's one of the simplest, most powerful things that the word provides us with, because you can bury yourself literally, or someone else, or you can speak life to yourself and others.
Like defines depression for a lot of people. You just bury yourself, and it piles on. And you get to that point where you and we've kind of taken this into a different direction for a little bit, but I think it needs to be heard.
I agree.
But you,
where the spirit stays,
and then you, it's super easy. Again, going back to that, like easy points. It's super easy to say, "Oh, the world hates me. The world's against me. This person's out to get me."
Oh, never.
Yeah, I will never. Yeah, exactly. Dwell and you victimize yourself. And I'm hurt. Nobody cares. Life doesn't care. The world doesn't care. Those kinds of things. And I'm not saying that those things don't hurt. And I'm not saying that that's not a real thing for a lot of people. But there's something to be said about, regardless of what people say to me or what place they're trying to put me in, I'm gonna have a good day.
But regardless,
get
out of there,
folks. Oh, Simon.
And then on the 6th of November, it's Nacho day. Nacho, that's what you can tell.
It's not your time, it's my time.
Tell depression, it's not your day.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
That's right.
Victory. It's not your day. It's going to be a good day. I'm not going to have any negativity.
Yeah.
You know?
Amen. For sure.
Yeah, you deserve that, Chris.
We all do. We all do. Yeah, you do deserve that. Yeah.
And keep seeking. You like, I have stuff that I want still, like just stuff, like I want a boat. I want a truck. I want that. Just do I need that? Maybe. Yes, I do, Chris. I need it. Need good times. It's for my mental health. Right? Yeah, we can be on the boat together,
Oh, sure. Yeah, we do need that.
Duh.
More podcasts.
Exactly.
I mean, think of like lakes or, Exactly. Oh, yeah, for sure. We do need that.
We do.
Hashtag help us get a boat.
Yeah, hashtag help us get a boat.
Just kidding. But really. So is it there was something else that November meant?
Oh, so it was around men's health. Because we were going to talk about your dad and my brother, because our focus was men's health. And so to kind of prelude to the end of this podcast, recently we were able to do something pretty freaking awesome, I'm going to say. Chris, we talked about how I was starting a nonprofit. My brother had passed.
Honor of your brother,
and his name was Benji. We coached soccer together. And
shout out to Benji.
Benji.
He's an awesome angel. He's an awesome angel. We're happy to have you as our angel. Absolutely.
And really, this is because of Benji too. He told me, he's like, I would send him motivational stuff, and he was about to die, and he's like, "That's what you should do." I was like, "Wait a minute, that's what I should do." He goes, "That's what you should do." What should I do? I should be a motivational speaker. He's like, "Yeah, you could do that."
You could.
Because we coached together. He saw what I did at halftime and how I was encouraging and how I could change the attitude of an individual to better them as a person and player. You know what I mean? For success and end result of winning a game, or maybe losing, but in a good fashion, right? With a good result. So with that said, it was on my heart before he passed that we could talk about starting something that his spirit could live on. And we decided it was going to be called Goals for Benji. And Goals for Benji we had a concept of having goals in places like Africa to help spread the word of the Holy Spirit of Jesus Christ. In addition, Benji would be a part of the goals scored at those locations. So whether it's locally, Pueblo, Colorado Springs, and beyond, but worldwide. And shout out to Joe Eunice, Dr. Joe. He has a ministry called Just a Guy Ministries, and he works with orphans in Uganda. And he contacted me literally 3 days after we had kind of talked about this, just like the resurrection. 3 days after I talked to the board. I don't think I'd share that part with you.
No, you didn't.
So the board discussed that we didn't like the way this is going to go, because we learned that eventually we would have to not be on the board, and that could change. And then the spirit of Benji, Goals for Benji, wouldn't be the same. So we started a new business called Pacheco's Design, which is going to help us with our merch for this podcast and others as well. So I have more information for you with that. And so with that said, because we got equipment going there, but just stay on track, we were able to donate monies to help sponsor 2 soccer fields in Uganda, 21 balls for 21 teams. So that way the pastors, because they can't have church right now because of COVID, they can be inside together. So they go to service on the soccer field, and then they're prayed for, and they're in a tournament right now. And
that's incredible.
Hashtag Goals for Benji.
That's incredible.
So for me, with my brother's disease, ALS, Amniolotrophic syndrome, what it is, it's a neurologic syndrome, if you don't know, where he could still think, but the nerves in your muscles start to atrophy. So eventually, like, it started with his hands. He couldn't grab stuff, and then eventually his arms, and then he couldn't walk, then he couldn't talk, and then he couldn't breathe. So he literally suffocated to death. And this is a person who
slow.
Yeah. And this is a person who's an athlete. This is a person who's a father. This is a person who's a referee, who's a coach, a man of God, you know, and just an all around good dude and life of the party. He wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
He made mistakes just like all of us, but it's awesome.
Yeah, it's and we talked about it before, man, and thank you for sharing that. Thanks for being vulnerable and sharing those, because your brother was a special dude, man. He really was, is a special angel for a ton of people. Oh yeah, feel his presence for sure. And that was a long road. That was a long road for you, and so props to you and your board for being open to that evolution, so because now we talked about this before. Now it lives. Now it lives. And you've actually done what you set out to do. I mean, yes, there's going to be growth and there's going to be more that you're going to be able to do, but you kept an open mind, and you kept Benji in the back of your mind of what he would do, what he would want.
Yeah, he told me
because I mean, that's
what to do.
It's legacy.
You know?
That's it. You focused on the legacy and not just on one path.
Right.
Because it was supposed to be, again, it was supposed to be a nonprofit. It's supposed to go in an entirely different direction.
Exactly.
And
instead it's a give back program with our business.
But that wasn't Benji.
No, that's what we found out when we started going through all the red tape and all this and that. I was like, it's like, even Benji wouldn't be happy with that. Like, he'd be like, oh, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be a better way.
And the whole personality of this was Benji. Like, and you allowed, I mean, that's what legacy is about. You allowed that to happen instead of trying to make something that you thought would happen.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a big deal. And that's why it lives now. Because you guys allowed that, you and your board, and whoever else is involved, allowed Benji to live in that.
Absolutely.
And that's super special, dude. I'm so proud of you guys. And I'm so happy for you, man. That's incredible. Yeah, cheers, man. That's incredible. That's awesome.
And we'd like you guys to get involved too. We're going to have a link on our website with Checo Designs, and we'll also probably have that available on our website, like a developed website for the Uncommon Podcast, you know, with gear and merch that you can order to support us. And you can be Uncommon as well. We get some hats and stuff. And so it's in the process. And so with that said, it is a give back program. So percentage of purchased items is going to go to that to help fund projects. And it's going to be goals for Benji, the Goals for Benji project.
And you know what? If you, because I've started a memorial fund for my stepdad, and I try to create awareness for my dad, who I'll talk about in a second. But now you've started a nonprofit and now evolved into something else, and so you've made transitions within that.
Right.
And so if you guys are interested in starting nonprofits or those kinds of things, I mean, Josh and I can be a resource to you, because
I'd love to help anyone else.
Our mission is to teach men and people how to be people, and our focus is men, how to be men, and giving back is part of that.
Right.
And so if that's something that you're interested in doing in memorial, or get in contact with a charity or nonprofit organization, or start your nonprofit, or those kinds of things, I mean, we'd be happy to help you.
Yeah, we encourage you to do that. So follow your heart.
Because
it's cliche.
Our purpose as men is to serve.
Yes.
Just to serve others, and that's all that that's our message is to help other men serve each other, not just themselves.
Right.
But
you should be serving yourself.
Serve others. Yes, obviously, serve ourselves, but get to a point where we can serve others in a healthy way, as well, for sure. So love to be able to be a resource, for anybody that wants to go down that road.
We got your back.
We got you. And so I'll talk a little bit more about what November means, to me.
Thank you for listening. This is a huge story.
So
really lean in.
So my dad had pulmonary fibrosis, right? And so I made some donations to a pancreatic cancer in the past, and did the No Shave November before. But after he passed, I thought I would just use this time to create awareness for pulmonary fibrosis and his illness and what ultimately took his life. And so if you're not familiar with pulmonary fibrosis, it's a very rare condition. It's a condition of the lungs and the respiratory system, and what it is this developed scarring within the lungs, which is irreversible and irreparable. And so every time that, and it's the stuff that we take for granted, when we have a common cough or cold or the flu, our lungs recover from those illnesses. With a patient or somebody that is suffering from pulmonary fibrosis, when they cough, it creates more scar tissue in your lungs, and eventually your lungs corrode, and it's irreplaceable. That scar tissue can never be repaired or replaced unless you have a lung transplant. And unfortunately, my dad had pulmonary fibrosis heavily in both lungs, not just in one. So he needed a dual lung transplant, which is another rarity. And when he was diagnosed, and mind you, I don't know the source of how he got pulmonary fibrosis. There's multiple factors and variables that he could have gotten it, but we don't know that. If he knows that, we sure don't. He didn't tell his kids. He didn't burden us with that information, and so we don't ever. We don't have closure with that, but we also don't point the finger at anything. We just kind of celebrated his life when he was diagnosed, and they gave him 5 years when he was diagnosed, and he didn't make it. It was right around 2 years that he passed away. And so he ended up having, I think it was 46% of his lung capacity or something like that when he ended up passing away. It might have been less than that once he got into the hospital and when he passed. And so
so difficult.
Yeah, it's not easy to talk about. It's not easy to deal with. My dad was my best friend, just like Benji. Benji was for you. But that's why I do this. That's why I kind of grow my beard out, and it gives me an opportunity to interact with people and create awareness and do this explaining of that disease. Beard, man? They don't. Again, there's no cure.
Do they come up to you? People are like, "What's the beard, man?"
I get more people that ask me why I haven't shaved. Why I'm shaved? Why I haven't shaved, or what's going on? Are you okay? And those kinds of things, because I'm normally a little bit more cleaner cut and a little bit more. My wife likes it because she's a scruffy kind of girl. But in any case, we've raised. And I say we because a lot of people have contributed, but teamwork. About the same amount of money that you guys have raised for Benji's fund, and it goes directly to pulmonary fibrosis. In that aspect, I don't have a private fund that we do events. I'm still kind of trying to figure that out. He's only been passed since 2019, so it's only been a couple years since he's left us, but. That wasn't a fun time, and there's a lot that I hold, in seeing my dad go through that. My dad was he's not just my best friend, but visually, mentally, physically, the strongest man I ever met. It was tough to, it's tough when people have that effect on you, and to see them weaken, and to watch their bodies and their brains and their minds and their souls submit when they've taught you how to be strong, and that kind of stuff. And so I made November that for me. But my dad was also not a sit back and let it defeat you kind of person. He really did fight. And I watched his body fight all the way up until the end. And up until the point that he made the choice for himself. And he Like that's how strong he was. He knew when his body, and I don't know how he did it, but he knew when his body was going to turn the corner, and he didn't burden us with that decision. He made that decision himself to and maybe it was God. Maybe he had in prayer,
it's
and
like they know
God said it's time, and so he was able to hold on to that and make that decision for himself. But yeah, pulmonary fibrosis is a very rare condition. It's irreparable. They don't have a cure for it. They actually don't know like the true cause.
Yeah, ALS is like that too. They don't
For
know the cause
either. Yeah,
right now.
and
there's more and more research to extend life. There's benefits to that, but
and I think I think there has to be some correlations, because consequently, my stepmom now, his wife, has been diagnosed.
Really?
Wow. With
I'm
pulmonary fibrosis. It's not as severe as his condition was then, but yeah, it's and so we're not sure, and so it creates some anxiety with my stepmom too, because now she's worried that it's environmental. We all lived in the same house at some point, and does it have to do with the house, or does it have to do with like food that we ate? Does it have to do with she's a parent too, and so we'll just kind of have to see how what God's plan is. But yeah, thanks for allowing me to share that. I grow my beard out for November, and in some cases I've stretched it out until the new year. And I say, if I can raise, I have a fun goal, and if I can raise that and hit my goal, I will shave it all off. Awesome. And kind of start over.
That's cool. I've seen you do that a few times.
Yeah. And so
I did that for a fundraiser as well for Benji.
Yeah.
And that's why I have the mustache now. I've done the beard.
Yeah.
And part of that too, Chris, to be real honest, like I started growing the beard because Benji couldn't shave anymore, and he had retired.
Okay.
So I didn't let him grow his out by himself, and he grew pretty much the chin. But also I was depressed.
I do.
And so and then he shaved his, and I had been so like attached to mine, like now. Like people are recognizing me for this. Like if I were to get rid of my stash, like, what the heck, man? And it was the same with the beard. Some loved it, not everybody. Some didn't like the beard. In the gym world, athletically, people love the beard. But outside of that, people are kind of like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Like I remember my wife's grandma said I look like a hillbilly.
Especially when they're in transition, right? Like if I were to grow this up further, like right now, I'd be in transition, and it's just like scruffy and not groomed and that. Right. That kind of stuff. And so, yeah, my brothers tried, both of my brothers have tried it.
Not as good as you?
No. And they'll admit it.
The hair is strong with you.
It's the force is
just a big old hair American.
It's true. It's true. So yeah, that's what November means to me. But also, I mean, I think that's the focusing on the thankful for piece is super important during this month. So shout out to all the people that have connections with all the cancers that are being recognized and their awareness this month. If you if you want to make a shout out for your charity or those kinds of things, I mean, Josh and I can try to do what we can to help you with that. Bring recognitions. We're always here to help in any way that we can. And obviously give a positive word and be uplifting and motivating, be helpful to anybody that we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Like we just shared some pretty difficult stuff with you, and I want to acknowledge you for doing that, because I know like in the past I couldn't have spoken the way that I spoke, and I know you've reached a point of healing where you can speak in a way that you just spoke. There were days where as soon as I began to speak, I just started to cry. So we just want to be encouraging of men's health awareness collectively, mental health, physical health, and in any type of negative situation that someone, we want to acknowledge that that you can be strong, that you're not alone. I think that's the biggest thing I hope for you all to take away as we close this is know that you're not alone. For me, when I was like that, knowing that I wasn't alone, people like you reaching out and others being there it's one thing people are like, oh, let me know if you need anything. But when you need something, like, it's hard to say, I need help.
It is.
But with just a phone call, changes everything sometimes.
Yeah,
and so like it's hard to say thank you and I need help, but do that, be thankful. You can do it. Anyhow, thank you for tuning into this episode of 23.
Episode 23.
Episode 23. What a journey. We are the Uncommon Podcast. I'm Josh. This is Chris. We'll see you in the next episode.
Hey, we're thankful for you. Yes.
Absolutely.
Listen to us on iHeart
Podcast, Apple. Geez, what is the other one? It's green. What's that one?
Spotify. We're available on Spotify.
Anything in podcast line, you can find us.
Yeah.
And default, YouTube. We're here on YouTube. You can always listen to us when you're in the gym or you're just cruising around. All right.
Absolutely.
Take care. God bless. Stay uncommon.